Hello, my name is Allison Carmen, and welcome to my podcast, 10 Minutes to Less Suffering. And the name of today's podcast is Self-Love is the Greatest Certainty. And I've been thinking a lot about this idea since my ex-husband called me to get together right before he got married to his second wife. And it was so interesting when I got the text he had written to me that we hadn't seen each other or spoken in a long time. And what was so amazing to me is that the truth is we haven't seen each other or really spoken since he left almost 6 years ago. And as I've spoken about on prior podcasts, that the end of my marriage was quite abrupt. And there wasn't a lot of things communicated or said, and I never fully understood so many things. How we got here, what actually happened, and I was forced, in order to heal, to put things together myself and to look at myself and my role in the marriage. And through growing and developing, I was able to see what happened to the best of my ability and understand the marriage more. And then the biggest lesson of them all was I could not know everything. And sometimes you need to let go and put things away and put them down so you could be present and love yourself enough to create a new life. So when he wrote me to get together, there was this temptation of, oh, now I could know more things. I could have more questions answered. I could correct all the lies or the things that were said that weren't true. And as soon as I thought that, this feeling in my heart of love came over me. And in that moment, I realized that loving myself and being kind to myself was more important than knowing. I didn't need to know another thing. I didn't need to figure anything out. All that would do was open up wounds, bring me back into the past. And as Byron Katie often talks about, we have a choice. We could be right or we could be free. We could be right or we could be at peace. And I have found that peace. I have found that freedom in loving myself so much that I don't need to know everything, that I could allow things to be the way they are. I could process things the best I can, and I could let the rest go. So in that moment, I saw that love really prevails over knowing, over fear, over right, and it is truly the path to freedom and peace and to moving forward with your life. So I wasn't rude or mean. I had told him that I was busy and that I couldn't meet. And for me in that moment, that was one of the most profound moments where I chose myself and I chose self-love over this addiction to certainty, this addiction to knowing. And so the reason I bring this up today is that how profound that our fear of the unknown, our fear of what will be, our beliefs that if we knew more about the past, if we understood why someone acted the way that they did, if we could just understand everything, our lives would be better. And yes, there are some things that do help. There are certain conversations that are healing. I would have done anything for him to have called me a month after he left the marriage to have that conversation. And it probably would have been enlightening and helpful. But it was 6 years later. And so, yes, sometimes it matters, but often when we love ourselves first, when we put ourselves first, when we nurture ourselves first, when we are kind to ourselves first, knowing is not the most important thing. Because often we're not going to have a meeting of the minds with people. Often situations are not going to make sense. Often knowing doesn't change the pain. And it is only when we love ourselves enough and we're forgiving to ourselves and we're kind to ourselves are we able to show up in the present and eventually heal. So love overcomes our fear of the unknown. And love overcomes when something is done to us, whether it's our fault or not, whatever it is. When we could find that place within us that we give ourselves a little embrace and we are on our own team. We stand behind ourselves. We don't need to know everything. We don't need to live in that deep fear of what other people think, or if we just knew more, life would be okay. It is really our love for ourselves that says, hey, this is too painful, and this is the past, and we process it as much as we could, and now it's time to let it go. Sometimes we just need to let it all go. And it's like that story I told a couple weeks ago of the monkey who put his hand in the coconut to get the peanuts with sugar. And because his fist was closed, he was unable to get his hand out. And the coconut was attached to a string, and the string was attached to a tree, so he was caught. That monkey could not get his hand out of the coconut. And the only way he was able to get it out was if he opened up his fist, dropped the peanuts, dropped the sugar, and took it out. And then he would be free. Often it is our choice whether or not we are caught. And we get caught because we hold on to things that are no longer in our lives. We hold on to the past. We hold on to this need to be right, this need to get it back, this need to make sense of things. Sometimes things don't make sense. And sometimes you will not have all the answers. And sometimes the life that's waiting for you just needs you to open your hand and let go the way you thought your life was going to be. The peanuts, the sugar, whatever it was, to start new. But if you need to know, and if you need to be right, you will always be caught. So I looked at that meeting and I said, why do I want to be caught? Why do I want to be caught in something that doesn't mean anything today? Why do I want to be caught in being right? Why do I want to be caught in knowing when I can be free? Because my life in this moment has nothing to do with him, nothing to do with my past. My life in this moment has to do with the love I have for myself and my friends and my family and my projects and my jobs and all of you and the world and the infinite possibilities of everything that could happen in my life. And the same goes for you. The more you love yourself, the kinder you are to yourself, the more you're on your team, the less you'll need to know. Because that love will consume you. And that love will lead to freedom over rightness, freedom over knowing, peace over everything. And when you always have yourself, kindness and the creativity and aligning with your passions and your goals come before knowing what someone else thinks, understanding everything in your life. You go back to yourself and you know that life will keep changing. You have more courage to act, you have more courage to love, and you have more courage to receive the right things in your life for that moment and for your future. There was nothing for me to receive in that moment by meeting him, and there are many things in your life that are past that you do not need to receive any more answers, any more messages, any more knowing, because the person you are in the moment deserves to receive things that help you flourish in the moment, that help you love more in the moment, that help you create more possibilities in the moment for the glorious future that you are deserving of. And this takes letting go. But when you're loving yourself, you will just let go. And when you're loving yourself, you will be more present. And when you're loving yourself, you'll be more open to everything that's possible in your lifetime. And when we start to get this, we don't need to know anything other than ourselves. Isn't that amazing? That to know ourselves is to be able to let go of the past, to know and love ourselves helps us to be present, and to know and love ourselves is what helps us create the future that we've always dreamed of. And always remember, maybe the best is yet to come. Thank you for listening to this podcast today. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you could email me at allison@allisoncarmen.com. If you'd like to buy my books, The Gift of Maybe or A Year Without Men, they're available at all major bookstores and online retailers. And if you'd like to buy my new audiobook, it's available on all major audio platforms. And if you're interested in purchasing the Maybe cards, which is an amazing way to practice the Maybe mindset, or if you're interested in my new Maybe digital journal, they're available on Amazon, Etsy, and my Stan store on Instagram and TikTok. And most of all, if you like this podcast, I hope you subscribe and leave a comment.